right, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. There might be some more joining us as we go along here. If I could just ask everybody to mute themselves. I'm sorry, I'm not sure. That'd be just great. Excellent, thank you. I was hearing some feedback. Thank you very much. So welcome to all of you here. Appreciate you coming out. And I think we're going to have a good time. I'm going to share a bunch of things with you that you can be doing to help grow your shop and to help you understand online marketing better. I'm just concerned that Eric can hear me. Eric, do you mind just popping in the chat if you can hear me or not? I hate to be moving forward if no one can hear me. Can all the rest of you guys hear me? If you don't mind just mentioning it in the chat, please, if you can hear me. Perfect. Chad can hear me. Okay, excellent. All right, let's get moving then. So today's webinar I've titled Shop Owners Workshop, Creating a Winning Marketing Plan. And so let me just click to the next slide. There we go. So just a little bit of fun stuff. Let's keep this interactive as we can. Obviously, if you are busy, you might not be able to turn on your cameras. I enjoy getting feedback. If I can see the cameras, that's awesome. I really appreciate that. If not, that's okay too. If you have on-topic questions as we're going along, feel free to throw them in the chat. If you have other questions that come to you, please save them to the end of the workshop of the webinar, please. Okay, so my plan here for today is fairly straightforward. I'm planning to look at what is marketing, and I'm sorry, I just lost my notes. There we go. Which marketing is right for your shop and questions to answer when creating your shop's marketing plan. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. If you've been here to one of these webinars before, you may know this already. If you haven't, that's okay too. So back in the 80s, my dad founded Eagle Creek Auto Body on the ranch where I grew up. So I grew up in the collision repair industry. I grew up playing in the shop. One of my brothers currently owns Eagle Automotive Center. And maybe I should mention, it went through a name change when it moved from the ranch into a bigger facility in town. It got changed to Eagle Automotive Center, the name. And I worked there at the body shop from 2013 to 2021 as a manager of the auto body shop. In 2023, I decided to move on and got into sales and marketing. And in 2023, I decided to combine my knowledge of collision repair shops and online marketing to help independent shops just like you guys to dominate online. All right, let's move on into what is marketing. So I've broken this into 6 main points that we're going to look at. These are definitely not all inclusive, but they're going to help give you a better understanding of marketing. Here goes the first point. What is marketing? It's building a brand. And here I just threw up a logo of one of my client shops, Manual Collision Center. You could consider that part of their brand. And you can think of branding strictly from the creative side, as in like the logos, the colors, and advertisements, hats. But brand goes so much deeper. It actually touches the soul of your shop. You can have the coolest logos and swag, but you could have the worst brand in town. So who's responsible for building your shop's brand? And my answer to that is everyone is responsible. But it obviously starts with the leadership. If you don't have a vision, how will your employees? What sets your shop apart from the competition? What gets people to refer your shop to family and friends? Why is your shop the first one that comes to mind when someone has been in an accident? And that is all about building a brand. So, step number one to what is marketing? It is building a brand. And typically, that is built over years of a good reputation. Number two, promoting your shop. There are so many ways to do this, and I made a list of them. You could do billboards, you could do mailed flyers, sponsor local sports teams, restaurant placemats, yellow pages, TV ads, radio ads, newspaper ads, cookies for the insurance agent, CRPs, wrapping your vehicles, flashing lights, hosting car shows, giving out hats for customers to wear, standing on the street corner, shouting at the passerbys, knocking on doors, dropping leaflets from airplanes, hiring a blimp, participating in parades, hiring a food truck to sit in your shop parking lot, a website, social media, Google business profile, Google ads, Yelp ads, Facebook ads, geofence advertising. And I probably missed 100 other ways. So I think you get the point. There's a lot of ways to promote your shop. Now, today, I'm going to try to help you start figuring out some of the best ways to promote your shop online. I don't have a lot of experience in, let's say, like the billboards, the TV ads. That is not my area of expertise. Number three, what is marketing? It is marketing research. So before you go out and stand on the street corner and shout out your shop services, I want you to think about these questions. Am I on the right street corner? Do these people care about auto body or collision repair? Can these people afford our shop services? How far is the street corner from my shop? Am I making it easy for them to find our shop? Am I wasting my time, or is this a long-term strategy? So the point I'm trying to make here is do your market research. And these same questions apply to all your marketing, whether it's online or offline. Let's think about it maybe in an online sense. Am I targeting the right geographic area with my online advertising? As the same as your offline advertising. Are these people needing a collision shop? How much competition do I have in a 20-mile radius? And how many people are searching online for collision repair services in my area? This is all very key research that you need to be doing before you even start your marketing. Because one of the keys to successful marketing campaign or marketing program is the research you put in beforehand before you ever turn the switch on or before you ever get started on. Make sure you do your research correctly. Okay, number four is marketing channels. And as you can see on this picture, we have somebody standing here with arrows pointing all directions. They don't know which way to go. And that's how it can maybe feel about marketing. We talked about bullhorns, we talked about airplanes, we talked about newspapers, and we talked about the internet. So which of these channels is the most effective? This is part of your marketing strategy, determining which channels are going to be the most effective, which one will give you the best ROI. And number five, analyzing marketing performance. So this is after you've started your marketing, is how do you track the effectiveness? Let's say you decided to drop leaflets from airplanes. How are you going to track the effectiveness of that campaign? Maybe you could put a call tracking phone number on the leaflet. If you're knocking on doors, maybe you could measure it by how many estimate appointments you booked from your knocking on doors. If you're using online marketing, there's things like website, Google business profile click, call tracking phone numbers, form fill out, ad click-through rates, geofence walk-in conversions. There's a number of ways that you can analyze your marketing performance. And number 6, everyone is marketing. I want you to remember that. Here on this slide, I grabbed a photo of one of my clients' shop team photos. I just want to emphasize that everyone at your shop is marketing your shop, whether you like it or not. Every interaction, every job, every mistake, every smile, your CSR, your repair planner, your body tech, your painter, your detailer, your floor sweeper, they are all marketing your shop. But you as leadership set the stage for success or failure when it comes to marketing your shop. You're the one that really that's the pace for your shop. So we touched 6 things on what is marketing. Now I want to dive more into which marketing is right for your shop. And we're going to explore different online marketing tools and strategies. And I'm going to try to discuss some of the pros and cons just to help give you a better idea of the different options available online. But first of all, I'd like to talk a little bit about where you're at and a little bit about budgeting to help you determine which marketing is right for your shop. So very first of all, you need to figure out where you're at, because until you determine where you're at, you will not be able to figure out where you want to go. So what is your shop to revenue now? And then what do you want to be at 12 months from now or 24 months from now? If you're looking to grow by 500,000 annually, what marketing are you doing to move that needle? And honestly, since COVID, many shops have been so busy that they have been able to grow just by working faster and harder and more efficient. But those times seem to be changing. And if you want to grow, you're going to need to be more aggressive in marketing your shop and getting out there and beating the competition in your marketing. And that brings me to the next section. What's your budget? I'd like to make this really interactive here, kind of make a group exercise. So I don't know, if you guys are sitting at your desk, I'd like you to get out a piece of paper and pen and work through this with me. But first of all, I'd like to give you a bit of a rule of thumb, and this comes from Forbes for marketing budget as an average of annual revenue percentage. And from the research they've done, rule of thumb is 5 to 10% of marketing budget on your average annual revenue to maintain your market share. 5 to 10% to maintain your market share, 10 to 20% for moderate growth, and 20% plus for aggressive growth. And these numbers seem crazy to our industry because we have not had to do these kinds of things to grow our shops, especially in the last few years. But now to our group exercise. Now, just to make sure you're with me, can you throw a one in the chat if you're ready to do a little group exercise on some budgeting? For some reason, Zoom is not showing me or you, and I'm not sure exactly why. Okay, super. So there are some people on the other end of the line. Excellent. So Eric, I was just wanting a little bit of feedback to make sure that I had you guys with me. Okay, appreciate it. I see Chad, a 1. Eric sent me a 1. Perfect. Okay. Excellent. Welcome, Tim. We are just discussing a little bit about a marketing budget for your shop. Okay, so let's run through this scenario. I made a hypothetical scenario. I'm going to let you apply this to your shop. Let's say you wanted to grow your shop by $1 million annual revenue. Why don't you pick a number? What would you like to grow your shop in 12 months, in the next 12 months? Pick a number. I've picked 1 million for my example. And then what I did is I divided that by 12, which gave me what revenue we need to hit on a monthly basis to hit our 1 million growth. That divides out to roughly 85,000 per month. So we need to add $85,000 per month. Now, I want you to take your average RO severity. I don't know what that is for your shop. For my example, I went with $5,000. It makes my math really simple. So I'm going to use $5,000 as my average RO severity. So I divide my monthly addition of 85,000, divide that by 5,000, that gives me 17. What that tells me is now I need to add 17 more ROs per month to hit my 85,000 goal added to our monthly revenue. Okay, so does that mean then, I guess breaking that a little bit further, at the front, at my CSR, my front end staff, do they close every phone call, every person that stops in? Do they get the job booked in? Do they get the keys in their hand? Probably not, unless you have an amazing CSR or an amazing estimator, repair planner, whatever your arrangement is at your shop. Let's say, just for illustration, I chose my average close ratio from phone call to booked RO is 50%. That's pretty low. I think most shop owners would not be happy with that. But it makes my math easy here again. So I need 17 more ROs to hit my 85,000. I have a 50% close ratio. That means I need 34 more qualified leads coming to my shop, whether it's a phone call or a drop-in. Okay, now let's leave that illustration there for a minute. How much are these leads worth to my shop? So remember, my average severity on these repairs is $5,000. I'm trying to figure out, what is this lead worth to me? Let's say I have a 40% profit margin. I don't know what you guys are at in your shops. I imagine you might even be higher than 40%, but let's just use 40 as an easy illustration. 5,000 average RO severity, 40% profit margin, boom, that leaves me with a 2,000 profit per RO. Now I can start calculating, what can I spend to bring in these leads that I need from this $2,000 profit RO? Let me ask this question. In this example, would you be willing to put $500 into each RO to successfully quadruple your money? If you put 500 in and you made 2,000, hypothetically, let's say you are. That means you're spending $8,500 per month. Your qualified leads are costing you $250. So each qualified lead, those 34 qualified leads that you need to hit your $85,000 mark, is costing you $250. Now, I would suggest it's time to tighten up your closing ratio, get that closing ratio up, and man, you start bringing in that affect your bottom line really, really quickly. So, by the way, that $8,500 marketing budget was 10% of the revenue growth goal. So my revenue growth goal of $85,000 per month, $8,500 is 10% of that. I'm curious, did you follow that? Does that make sense to you, that stepping through the budget of how you can figure out what you guys can spend per lead? Because until you know that, it's really tough to build a good marketing plan, marketing strategy, if you don't know how much your ROs are worth, and then converting that into what are your leads worth. Does that make sense? Anybody willing to drop something into the chat? All right, well, that's okay. If you have any more questions on that, I'm happy to work through it with you privately if you're interested. Let's move on to online marketing. So I think we would all agree, newspapers, radio ads, blimps are dying. It's time to embrace the future. So get ready to unleash the power and focus of online marketing. Next, we're going to start looking at all the different options. And all this can be overwhelming sometimes. Which online marketing option is best for my shop? And this is the $1,000,000 question. And like I said before, we're going to dive into different options and look at the pros and cons of them. I've chosen 6 specific options. That's not nearly all of them, but this is going to help you build a good foundation for your marketing plan for your shop. So the first one that I have here is search engine optimization. Maybe I should explain what search engine optimization is. It is ranking your shop organically in the Google search results. And SEO, which is short for search engine optimization, is largely done through your shop website, your Google business profile, and your off-page SEO. Let's talk about some of the pros of search engine optimization. In 2024, the statistics so far on organic search is that it drives 1,000% more traffic than organic social. I'm not slamming social media, but I'm just putting it into perspective a little bit. Organic search, just get these numbers, organic search drives 1,000% more traffic than organic social. I think it's good to have a social media strategy for your shop. But if you don't have a search strategy for your shop, you're missing out on a lot of opportunity. And you might ask, why do we focus on Google? Well, here's one of the pros that I have. Google claims over 94.9, so basically 95% of the US mobile search market. And that's one of the pros to search engine optimization is when you have one player that claims so much of the market, you can really dial in your strategy there. All right, 53.5% of all web traffic comes from organic search. Only 27 comes from paid search. Now we're going to talk a little bit more about paid search in a little bit. So I'm not going to throw it under the bus entirely because I believe it has its place, but I do want you to see the importance of a good, solid search engine optimization program for your organic search ranking, because 53.5% of all web traffic comes from that organic search. And another thing, and I couldn't find a statistic on this, but people trust organic search results more than they do paid search results. I'm sorry, I went too quickly. There we go. The con to search engine optimization is it takes time to increase organic rankings. That is probably the biggest thing about search engine optimization. It's not a quick fix. It's not something you can flip the switch on and boom, your search engine optimization is just, you're hitting number one across many miles around your shop. It takes a lot of time to increase organic rankings. Let's go on to social media. So I don't know if you're a social media person or not. I prefer not to be, but let me just list off some few options. We've got Facebook, we've got Instagram, we've got X, we've got LinkedIn, we've got Pinterest, we've got TikTok, we've got Snapchat, we've got YouTube. A lot of options, and I believe these can be used as a tool for your business. Maybe not all of them. And here again, this is where it takes some strategy, figuring out which one is best for your shop. Let me just throw out some stats. I love statistics. In 2023, we had 246 million people in the US, that were active social media users, or 72.5% of the population. That's a staggering number to me. 246 million people in the US were active social media users. And let's break down those users by age. So we've got the 18 to 29, it's 84%, 30 to 49, 81%, 50 to 64, 73%, and 65 plus is 45%. Some crazy numbers. So definitely some opportunity for your shop on social media. Let's look at the pros. I would say to me, the number one pro of a social media plan strategy is it's a great branding tool. It's a great way just to build that brand slowly and surely across your community through social media. Another pro is that you can set up accounts and post for free, that you do not need to pay for these accounts. You do not need to pay anyone to do this for you. If you're a small shop, this is something you can definitely do on your own with a smartphone, you can shoot pictures, you can shoot some video, and you can make some great content. Another pro is it's a great way to just to stay involved in the community that your shop is in. And my final pro is to build that long-term trust by showing up in people's feeds. Obviously, it's a long-term play because you do not know when that person might need your services or when their a family member might need your services or a friend. But if you keep showing up there and consistently bringing good value, good content to your viewers, you're going to start building trust with them, even if they don't know you. The cons that I have here is it's really hard to quantify what ROI you're getting on organic search or on organic reach. Back to the budget that we were talking about. If you're building out a budget for your social media plan, it's really, really hard to track. What's the ROI? What type of leads are we generating from this? What phone calls are we generating? What website visits? It's hard to track all of that. There are some ways, but it's really hard to quantify. And also, it takes time to keep up the social media presence. So just back to the illustration, if you're a small shop and you're doing this yourself, it takes you some time to do that. All right, let's go on to the next one. Here we've got Google paid advertising. So this is not the organic search. This is the paid search, where I'm sure all of you have been searching on Google for something, whether it's your desktop or your mobile device, and you have a result that shows up right at the top of the page and it says sponsored, or maybe it's in the Google map pack and it says sponsored right at the name. That is part of a Google paid advertising. That business or that shop is paying Google to be there. And obviously, there's a lot of things that play into Google pay-per-click advertising, whether or not it's going to be successful. And this goes back to doing your market research. How many shops in your area are using Google pay-per-click advertising? That will definitely affect how you rank. But anyways, let's talk about some pros. Here's a stat from 2024 saying that paid search, 75% of people say that search ads made it easier for them to find what they're looking for. There's definitely some value here, even if people don't trust it quite as much as they do their organic searches. Another pro is that you pay Google when someone clicks on your ad. So you're not necessarily paying per impression, you're paying per click. Another pro is that you're targeting those that are searching for collision repair keyword phrases. If you've done your research properly and you have all the right phrases set up properly in your Google Ads campaign, you will only be targeting the people that are searching for the keyword phrases that people are looking up. Let's say, I'm just going to use an illustration here. Let's say you don't want to rank for cheap bumper repair, and you can actually set up a negative keyword list that you will not be wasting your dollars on those searches and people clicking through. So that's definitely a pro to the Google Ads campaign, is you're targeting those that are searching for collision repair keywords. Sorry, I got a little carried away on the keyword setup properly. Also, another pro is that you can target a certain event like a hailstorm if your shop does PDR. I don't know if your shops are PDR shops or not. If you get hailstorms that go through your area, I'm in the Midwest, so that's something a lot of the shops around here in the Midwest do, is the PDR. So you can turn the campaign on for paintless dent repair. After a few weeks or a month, you can turn the campaign off. You can also track, another pro is that you can track click-through rates and phone calls if you have a phone call tracking set up to make sure that you're hitting your lead acquisition costs. Some cons that I think of is when you stop paying Google, the phone stops ringing. Another con is that with people with ad blockers on their browsers, they won't be seeing your ad. And another con is that people don't tend to trust these ads quite as much as they do their organic. All right, let's move on to Facebook paid advertising. Basically what this is boosting posts or also setting up ads for your local area. Let's talk about some of the pros to this. You can target certain geographic locations through your Facebook setup. And this can be good for building brand awareness and just getting more eyeballs from your community on your content. And here again, another pro that I think of is it can be good for using it in certain events like the hailstorm illustration that I gave before. If your shop is EDR, is set it up so it just hits the geographic area that the hailstorm went through and run some ads, run some boosted posts focusing on that content of paintless dent repair. Some cons that I think of to it is it can take a lot of time to manage the lead flow. So if you've got leads coming in, whether it's Facebook forms or phone calls, sometimes those leads are not very good, as in they're not your ideal client. It can take some time to sort through them. And here again, another con is when you flip the switch off, you stop paying Facebook, the campaign is all over. You don't really have organic reach beyond that. And another one is geofencing. This one is a great strategy to use if you have a lot of shops around you. Let me just explain geofencing. I'll try to give you the 2-minute version. Geofencing is where you can draw the service. I shouldn't say you hire an agency where they will set up geofences around all your competition, literally draw a fence around your shop, their parking lot, and at the digital fence, as soon as somebody crosses that fence, go through the fence with their smartphone. If they have their location services turned on, which the majority of us do, I think it's 90% statistically have the location services turned on. Then we can then grab the mobile ID and we can start serving ads into their browsers and into their apps to come and visit your shop. Maybe it would be something like, you need a second opinion, you need service today. You can start pushing those ads to them as they're in the lobby of the shop, of your competitor's shop, and also follow them for 30 days afterwards. Some of the pros to this is that you're targeting people that are obviously in the market for collision repair shop. Another cool thing about it is you can track walk-in conversions, and I didn't mention that. So you can also set up a conversion tracking geofence around your own shop as soon as you have a mobile ID that was picked up over here, and then they show up at your shop. You can track that you had a walk-in conversion. Some of the cons is you need to have enough shops in your local area to make it worthwhile. If you have 2 shops, unless they are huge shops that are taking a lot of customers in every day, your probably best bet is not to run a geofencing campaign. If you don't have enough shops around you, it's not worth your money. And here again, it's another con is when you turn the campaign off, the leads stop coming in. All right, I think I have one more yet. And this one is more specific than probably others. This one is about your Google business profile. And this is a huge, I shouldn't say huge, this is definitely a part of your shop's online presence. And I feel like a lot of shops and a lot of shop owners that I talk to are not utilizing this free tool that they could be using. And that is one of my pros to this one is it's free to set up and it's got a lot of tools to optimize it. You have like the question and answer section, you have the review section, you have the post update section, you have all the photos you can be adding, a lot of different links that you can be adding in there. Definitely highly encourage you to optimize this and utilize this. Some of the cons, I couldn't think of any. Now, there was one that I thought of, and that is that on July 31st, so here in about 13 days, 14 days, Google is turning off the call tracking feature on your Google business profile. And that is disappointing, but Google has chosen to do that. I imagine it's because I think it's because they couldn't monetize it. That's my opinion. They didn't come out and say that. So they're turning it off. We're losing a really, really great thing there. but there are ways to set up call tracking phone numbers on your Google Business Profile to overcome that problem. All right, let's go on to the next section. Here are some questions to answer. I've just put 4 of them in here, and look at that. Which blimp should I hire? So I'm entirely joking here. I don't think you should go hire any blimps, but if you want to, go for it. Just don't blame me if it doesn't work. What is your growth goal? What do you want to grow your shop in the next 12 months, 24 months? Once you get that established, you can really start building out your marketing plan. How many more leads a month do I need to hit that goal? So remember, back when we were talking about the budgeting, if I have $1 million annual revenue growth goal, break it down into months. What's your RO severity? Divide that. That gives you how many ROs you need. What's your closing ratio? That gives you how many leads you need. It's not really that hard to figure that out, but this helps you dial in what you need to do for your marketing plan. And then next, once you've figured that out, does your marketing budget support your goal? So if you're spending exactly $0 on marketing, which I'll be honest, has worked in the past, moving into the future, I don't see that working any longer. Does your marketing budget support that $1 million growth or whatever it might be? All right, I've got one more yet. So after you've done your market research, which strategy will work best? So now you need to start considering things like how many competitors do you have? What online marketing are they doing? Start doing that market research to determine which strategy is going to work best for you. Just like I said, if you have one shop competitor in your town, geofencing is not a good idea. And probably, yeah, there's a number of them that probably aren't a good idea. It's going to take some creativity there if you only have one competitor in your town. And I believe that's my final question. Do you have any takeaways that you'd like to share? I know there's just a couple of us on the call anymore. A few have had to drop out. Any takeaways that you have from the webinar? I'm not going to spend much time here. I'm actually going to, can I find this? I'm just going to give you guys, since there's just a couple of us here on the call anymore, I'm going to give you the option to unmute yourself if you like, and share anything that you would like. Also, I'm just going to throw out there, which I know Eric and I have been on a Zoom call before. And also, I think, Tim, you and I are scheduled for a Zoom call right after this webinar. So this is awesome. I was just going to throw out there to anybody that was on this webinar that if you're struggling to know which strategy is going to be best for your shop, I'm more than happy to schedule an online strategy session with you where I review your shop, some of the data that I can collect from my end, and help you build out that strategy. But being you guys are we've both been talking, I know Tim and I have been emailing, and we're going to jump on a call here in a little bit, so I'm not going to belabor that point. I do have here a little bit laying out some of the strategy that we use here at Body Shop Marketing. Typically, we start with building your foundation of your website and your search engine optimization. That's part of your long-term strategy. And then also tying that together with like your reputation management. And then if you really need to get aggressive with your marketing using the Google Ads, the geofencing, and social media to grow that. So do you guys have any questions? I see Tim commented that's pretty loud here. And excellent. You bet, Tim. I guess that's right. You and I are going to be meeting face to face in North Carolina. I believe that's tomorrow, isn't it? I need to jump on a couple airplanes between now and then. So that's great. Did you guys have any questions for me? Anything you'd like to chat about more? Anything that wasn't clear? This is only the 5th webinar workshop that I've ever done. for collision repair shop owners. So I'm always looking for feedback on things that I could be doing better, improving, because I really want to bring value to you guys. I appreciate Eric, Tim, I appreciate you being here. Excellent. Well, it looks like we're wrapping this up a little bit early. You bet, Eric. I guess you and I have a call scheduled for Monday. We can dive into that then. Excellent. Very good. Well, like I said, I appreciate you guys being here. I hope I brought some value, and yeah, hopefully there's something you can take away to help and even just to grow your knowledge on online marketing. Very good. Well, I'm just going to stop sharing. There I can see Eric. I finally can see you. For some reason, Zoom had you blocked there. Perfect. Very good. Appreciate it, Eric. Appreciate it, Tim. We'll look forward to chatting more, both of you. I look forward to meeting Tim over there in North Carolina. Very good. Well, you guys take care.